Hello, this is Stuart with Stuart's Random Tech and Video, and this is part 2 of the Rodecaster Pro II Teardown series. In the last episode, I was not able to get the Rodecaster working again, but I did find a solution to that issue. So please stay tuned as I roll the intro. Alright everyone, thanks for joining me today. So the issue here was with this connector. That little plastic piece that had fallen off of here is responsible for keeping pressure on the connector, so it makes a good connection with the board, and that's why it wasn't booting up. So I'll demonstrate that for you. Unfortunately, I had having a real trouble getting this little plastic piece back in, so I'm not sure what I can do about that yet, but put it off to the side so I don't lose it. But yeah, so I will plug this thing in and turn it on and flip it over, and I'm just gonna hold the connector with my finger, and it should start up this time. Okay, so the fader lights are on. So, yeah. Oops. See, it did boot up. However, the faders are not going to work now because I accidentally slipped. But you can see that was the issue. So not having the faders connected prevents it from booting up totally. So now that we know that was the issue, I can continue with the teardown and try to resolve the issues with these pads. Alright, so let's turn it back over here. I guess we'll power it off properly. Be careful not to touch anything exposed here. I don't want to short out the board. Okay, so I can unplug you. Alright, so let's continue the teardown. I'm gonna move my little tool tray over here for my little bits and pieces of things. Alright, so we can pull that out. Now, the tricky part for me here is gonna be trying to remove these other two connectors without destroying the connector. So I did need some more light. I just turned on another light here. But anyhow, yeah, so trying to remove this connector here should be interesting to say the least. Now if I can find something that's gonna work here. Okay, that one came up. Okay, so I got that one out. That one's staying in place too, so alright. So that's coming out good. I'll do the same thing with this one. I don't want to damage any of the resistors under there. Now the mistake I made with the first connector on the other side of the board was pulling it out without fully pulling the connector out, and that's what kind of made it pop out of the socket. So I think this is a better technique here, just sort of prying up on it a little bit. so it swings. And there. Okay, so that one came out. Okay, I can remove the antennas again. Now, don't think I'm an expert at doing this. I may have a lot of expertise regarding computers, but when it comes to small electronics like this, my expertise is a lot less forgiving. And my hands are not exactly stable either, so I tend to break things on these tiny components. There we go. Right, so we got the antennas off. We got all the ribbons disconnected here. And those screws need to come out again. Now, so this board is definitely looser than it was last time. If I can focus this a bit better. It's pretty much as focused as it's gonna get. Still doesn't want to. Oh, there we go. Okay. So we got the board out. There it is. And this is the back of the board, in case anyone wants to see the back. Focus it. Yeah. And there's the, yeah. Okay, so we'll put the board off to the side, I suppose. Okay, again, some of that scudge doesn't seem to be an issue though. Alright. So the next board we gotta take off here is the... We're gonna be taking off this larger board here, the audio PCB. Now I just realized these connectors probably yeah. So the connectors have to come out first, I think. I'm gonna guess. So let's zoom out a bit here. And I'm going to disconnect. So just to get at the faders, you really literally have to take the whole thing apart, which is unfortunate. I'm just going to take out the XLR connectors off the back here. And it seems to me, once I take those out and the 1/4-inch jacks, that I should be able to unscrew that board and take it off. I actually like individual screwdrivers over all-in-ones when I'm doing this kind of work. It's just easier to grab for exactly what I need rather than have to keep swapping back and forth. Now, if I was moving around, more portable, then I would bring a all-in-one solution like a Mega Pro or something. Okay, the last screw is this 1/4-inch. Take that out. so I got all the screws out for the, from what I can tell. Seems like it wants to come out, but not quite. So we'll continue with the board here. I might have to swing this at a 45 to get it completely out. There's only 2 screws, and then there's the notches here. So let's see how this is going to go. I guess I really don't want to take out these ribbon connectors. But if I have to, I have to, I guess. Because the way they're... I don't know if you can see. Let's see if I can... It's going to be very difficult for me to not only get them out, but get them back in, because I can't get a screwdriver or anything in there. But we'll see what happens. Okay, there we go. So just prying up on that was enough to get it out. Now these ones, I'll leave them connected for now. I'll just have to be careful how I... And now the 1/4 inch. Actually, this whole board's coming out. Oh, okay, these 1/4 inches are soldered right to the board. Okay, so we got the whole board out here, and I don't want to be careful here. This is what the back looks like. Let's zoom out a bit here. And focus. Oops. I got a lazy lens. It wants to zoom itself. So for those of you who are interested, actually it's labeled quite well. It has what everything is doing on the back of the board here. It's very interesting. Down at the bottom has the outs left and right. What everything is doing here, channels 1 to 3. So yeah, if you were into Rodecaster Pro II repair and had some good soldering technique, I guess you could fix these without too much difficulty. Right, so we got the board. I'm just going to place it off to the side. The audio board. Some more of that scudge just comes off. Okay, so now the fun part comes. Okay, so we got another one of these. Seems to be in place quite well. And now I can, now this plastic piece, just plastic guide for the cables, just comes off. Okay, we can put that there. And yeah, so it looks like the entire board is free. Alright, so let's start popping these clips. Move all the faders to the top, just in case. Oh. Well, okay, that'll explain it. Yeah. So what I have to do here... Okay, let's disconnect this. So we'll damage that. So what has to happen here is I guess I got to take the faders off. Hopefully they come off without... They don't seem like they're just going to come off easily. Maybe if I pinch them. Okay, that is going to be an issue. If I can't get those faders off, I can't get this apart. I have no idea if I should just give it a good yank and hopefully that comes off, or if it's going to damage something. Hopefully they're not glued. And see if anyone on the Rodecaster Pro I has removed the faders. Alright, so I had to pause the video so I could figure out how to take the faders off. And what I did was pulled up a video on how someone else did on a regular mixer. And basically, you need to pull with even pressure on both sides of the knob. So as you can see here, I got it off. It just goes on like that. So what I had done is I just made a loop like this, and then brought it back to the bottom here. And the string is actually a little bit too thick for this even, but I managed to get it underneath here. And try to press it up a bit more. Get it under, and then on this side, get it under. And now that I have it under there like this, I should, if I hold right here, and then from the back of the fader, I should be able to pull it off. There we go. Felt it come out. There we go. Oh, well, okay. So the metal piece came off, but not the plastic piece. Well, that's a bummer. Wow, this one's on good. It's starting to come off on this side anyways. There we go. Okay. So I can put that back in there. Put the faders off to the side, I guess. Right, so I learned a bit of a trick. So if you look at the slider and compared to the metal piece, it's basically almost as long. Now if you put your rope or string underneath, have it as close to the edge as you can without it slipping off, because if you put it completely under like I was doing, it's only going to get a little up so far before you're actually pulling on the fader, the metal piece itself. So if you have it closer to the edge, it's going to come off a lot easier. So try that. There we go. So that one came off quite a bit easier than the other ones. Alright, so that was quite difficult. Faders all still work, thankfully. And I also, what I had should have done as well to make things easier on myself, is put all the knobs back in here to keep the board a little more steady. So anyways, I gotta redo that now. Take all those back out. And they're pretty much coming out easily now. Alright, so the whole board wants to come out nicely now, so I can just pull that back, and maybe I'll we'll see to show you what this other side of the board. Okay, so there's the main PCB, printed circuit board, and the faders. So if you ever had to clean your faders as well, if they were starting to make static sounds or something, this is how you would get it out. I mean, I guess there is cleaner you can get, contact cleaner, some sort of contact cleaner to clean them as well. But and if for some, okay, well here's another. Here, this is interesting too. So we have a battery here. So if your Rodecaster ever loses its settings, and you could replace the battery, and this is just a coin battery, so that's good to see. It's just a 3.3 volt, and it's a lithium ion. Can't see what the voltage is on that. Lithium ion. I think it says 6 volts, but it might be something. It might be 3.6 volts. I can't tell. This battery is welded in here. So it's not a standard coin cell battery, unfortunately, but I should test it. So this is a 3.3 volt test pad for some reason. Okay, I'm gonna have to. Oh, I can just go like this. Okay, so let's swap the board around here and measure across these two. See when my multimeter's working. Okay, so it's measuring 1.05 volts when it's off. So I have no idea what this battery is, unfortunately, and I don't feel like breaking the battery off just to get at the number on there. So we'll put that off to the side. Anyways, yeah, so here's the board, and yeah, so I'll put this off to over here, and then we'll look at the faders. Does look like there's some grease in some sort of liquid in here. I don't know if that's grease for the faders or if that's something else. A piece of paper towel and just see here. Ooh, it really took my paper towel there. It stuck to it. And there. It dissolved my paper towel, whatever is on there. Okay, so I'm not touching that with my fingers. Okay, well, I'm not going to mess with that. Anyhow, so we have our buttons here. So none of these buttons So we have our buttons here. None of these buttons are having an issue. So now these, okay, well, I think I got, maybe not. This was like this. Top. So this is the little strip here. It seems like it's okay. There is a scratch down. And actually there's scratches. I wonder if that's the issue. Maybe, maybe not. You can see it clearly on camera now. There's scratches across the pads for some reason. I don't know how that would have gotten there, maybe through shipping or something. what would have scraped on that? That's the pads themselves. Just standard pads. I mean, they're just rubber, whatever. I mean, plastic rubber hybrid. It could be those scratches that are causing it, but and this one here. So there's the LEDs, multicolor LEDs, and I can't tell if that's a, looks like a resistor there. But if this little, if these little wafers here are not the issue, then that would mean that the entire PCB is defective. So, but they don't look defective. I'm wrong here, but my eyesight's not that great either. Now that we've taken the entire thing apart, I mean, I don't think I can't take off the knobs anyways because they're literally soldered to the board. What I can do though is just wipe off some of this excess flux or whatever it is on here. Okay, I got most of it anyways. It's kind of bad right here, but like I said, it's probably not an issue. But maybe down the road after the thing heats up and cools off, it might become an issue down the road. I don't know. Right, so there's not much to this when you think about it. So I guess the only thing left to do now is put the thing back together and see if it works. Yeah, those scratches though, they that doesn't look right to me. I don't know how those scratches would have got there, but what I should do, if I flip it around, oh no, it won't go in the other way, it only goes in one way. How about, I can't put it this way. Okay, that's too bad. I was going to flip it and see if the other two buttons started to misbehave. That would rule out that it's the scratches, I suppose. Where was that one going now? So the Bluetooth, sorry. So Bluetooth antenna. Okay. So the Bluetooth antenna goes back to the board, and there's just a trace. That's weird. So the Bluetooth literally connects to the board. Why would it connect to the board and not another antenna? I guess to save costs or something? I don't know. It looks like the trace itself is the Bluetooth. So I don't know if that's common practice in cell phones and other tablets and stuff, but you would think they would have at least a small antenna in there. Maybe that's why the Bluetooth performance is so poor on these things. No idea. But anyways, it's just my own theory. Yeah. So I guess we can, maybe I'll do a quick blowout here. Just to get any dust out of there that may have accumulated while I had this thing apart. Okay, let's put that back in. Buttons are there. Okay, so we'll put the board back on. Okay, I think I got that. Now there's this antenna business I gotta deal with first though. It's not an antenna, it's literally just a connection to the rest of the board. And that comes out through here over that plastic piece. Okay. So all in all, this wasn't too difficult, other than the ribbon being a little bit stubborn. So now we know why the look here is, because that's the top of the fader pad. So when people are assembling this, I guess they're trying to make sure it gets assembled correctly. Okay. All the buttons are in place, I believe. Yeah, make sure they're all make sure everything is free and not. Okay. That one didn't go down all the way. This side of the board feels a little loose for some reason. Alright, so okay, so the next board we gotta put this plastic piece back in. How does this go again? This way, I guess. This went in first. Okay, that seems to be lined up. Let's put this back in here. Oh, I wonder if I should clean off the. I'll clean off the contacts on this too. Next, we'll put this board back on. Okay. Ribbons are back in. And that one down. Now this one is going to be a real issue. Now this one's going to be a real issue. For sure, I might have to hot glue it or something. I'm not sure what's going to happen here. I'm not gonna worry about the gory details and getting this little plastic piece back in, so I will come back after I've done that off camera. Alright, so I managed to get the connector back in somewhat temporarily anyway, so that it holds in place. So what I'm gonna do is put the back on and see if there's any difference in the pad behavior. Okay, that snapped on rather easily actually. So we'll put the long screws back in. And the next screw. Let's see. I'll flip it around. I don't want to knock it too much. Be careful here. Okay, so all the faders are smooth. All the buttons seem to be in place. This one seems like it's a little loose for whatever reason. Seems more depressed, but anyways, this is just for testing. So let's plug it in. Turn it on. And let's see if the pad issue comes back. Right. So the lights came on, so we know it's booting properly anyways. Faders all work. Okay, so the connector is still there. Okay. Okay. Let's go back home. Okay, well the pad that was having the most issues was the applause, and seems to be working. But this is no indication because it's done this before. So seems to be working. Let's go to a blank one and then go back. Triggered there. Oh, it's better, but not as. So I'm going to leave it on for a while, and I'm going to come back in a little bit and see if it's still behaving the same way. Alright, so I've left the Rodecaster Pro II for about an hour now, and it still seems to be okay for the moment. I will have to probably test it over the next couple of weeks to see, and I will have to actually do a proper reassembly as well. This was sort of, I didn't tighten everything perfectly down, but, and this one button at the bottom here is down slightly than the others, so I'll have to fix that as well. But I don't know if it's fixed or not. We'll find out. So thank you for watching today, and do like, subscribe, and comment on this video if you're so inclined, and hopefully we don't get any more of these defective Rodecasters coming out. Okay, thanks for watching.